I'm going to give you a legal theory that I have. And it may sound distasteful at first, but hear me out. So I'm going to start with this premise, right? You cannot turn a gay person straight, and you cannot turn a straight person gay. Yes, sexuality is a spectrum and all these things, and people, if they get traumatized, certain things might happen. However, once you get to a certain point, your orientation, so to put it, is more or less set. And for that reason, I believe that if you put a pedophile, a rapist, in a jail cell or a prison cell, and then you take him out and you put him back in the general population, he's not magically not a rapist anymore. He's still him. And in the law, there's a doctrine, there's a principle where if you have a dog and it bites someone, the owner is sometimes not immediately liable because, hey, you didn't know that the dog had this predisposition that the dog was a biter, right? But once the dog bites someone, you are on notice. You are on notice that this is a dangerous dog. Parallel. Once you rape someone, once you touch a child, you are like a dog that the government knows now, we know now you've done this, that you have this thing in you that you cannot control. You're like a dog that can't help but bite. And the thing is I don't think that we should kill them, because I don't believe in the death penalty, because I think it's basically a form of human sacrifice. Oh, a wrong was committed. The only way that we're going to solve this wrong is if we take a human life on, then if we would kill someone and then Lady Justice or everything, it's better, but you'll fix it. No, I don't believe in that. And I don't think that you can release them back into the general population because there's so many stories, there's so many times. A lot of this happens in a lot of serial killers. I think Jeffrey Dahmer is one of them where they get caught, someone gets caught doing something sexually heinous, atrocious, either to a child or to someone who's passed out, someone who's vulnerable. And because of the way things were back then and the way things are right now, it was just like they just kind of got a sock on the wrist, if anything. And they went out and they hurt someone else. But we knew that these people did not keep it in their pants, so to speak. So here's my solution. You put them in jail and you punish them for a while because if they're convicted of a crime, right? Because they did the crime, whether a criminalized child, whatever, child CSAM, right, CSAM, because there's no such thing as child P, because P is something that adults do. By the same way that when Jeffrey Epstein's prostitution charge for the minors, the solicitation of a minor for prostitution, there's no such thing as a minor prostitute. That's just sexual abuse. There's a prostitute, someone sort of can consider, there's no consent. Anyways, that's like a, semantic, that matters to me. But getting back to the main thing, we put them in jail because she's got to punish them. But then afterwards, you just put them in some kind of penal colony. Like, let them have some kind of, there's in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by guards, maybe village of people, and if you misbehave, you go back to prison, right? That you stay there and you can work, and you have limited, hyper limited internet access that's always monitored, right? You can't access certain things. You can't, message anyone, like you can just read certain websites or news or whatever. You're programming, you're fucking making artisanal things, you're fucking growing free. I don't know. To boots, I don't care. We figure something out that's dignified because we have to, be a good society, and we have to put these people to work it in. But that is slavery. I am pro-slavery, and for other crimes too. If you put a shotgun in someone's face and say, put the money in the bag, I don't think that you should be expelled from society forever. You know what I mean? But you have to be punished, and I think the way to do that is not put them in a giant rape zoo, prison, where the AC doesn't work and it's a bug, it's war, but it's the worst of humanity, right? Put them on a work boat and have them pick up plastic from the ocean. Have them pick up plastic from the bin. That's slavery. I'm saying this is slavery. But we do this in a way that's justified. People don't like that work. Plant trees, help the environment, to do something. I believe in a labor force. I believe in there being a massive federally run or state coordinated labor force that includes penal labor. We already use it in California for firefighters, right? But I believe in a bigger labor force, essentially another branch of government. I would say, I'm saying not of government, another branch of the military. We've used people in the military to plant hundreds of trees or thousands, billions of trees, whatever, here in the United States to do massive public works. I'm saying let's bring that back so that you can have, for example, hear this out, hear me out. This is the business notice thing. We have the government say, you want to be a doctor? We will pay for your medical school. We will pay for your medical school. We get the sort of contract with us for 5 years, 6 years, whatever, at like a government-run hospital, or basically just medical, professionals, or they're giving labor. That's real labor. Or, we just put you wherever we want. So that, hey, you speak Spanish, right? You just graduate in whatever residency, okay? We need you. We're going to put you on an aircraft carrier floating hospital and send you to Venezuela because they just had like some earthquake or whatever, they have like a monsoon season, no? They have like a rain season, and then every year it's malaria. It's horrible. To go and help out there, disaster. We put you in different seas. Oh, you need more doctors and real seas. We'll put you there, and have that for everything. Have that for everything. For if you want to be a nuclear physicist, if you want to be, a program, like have a national labor force. And it sounds silly to think about this. Imagine if there was a national corporation, a national industrial conglomerate corporation that made, for example, America cars. Like the American nation has a brand, a car company that is run by people, the business school, like young people, right? And he put them in a uniform. This is official government work, official labor. And he built a fucking car company that, sorry for the profanity, I just got excited, that doesn't have planned obsolescence in mind. A car company that lasts forever. Then we're like with massive grade engineering, and it's affordable, and that way we compete with everyone else, right? And we raise the floor. That's kind of like a kind of quasi-socialistic, but also capitalistically competitive model that I think would be good. And not just have that for cars, have an American Airlines, like an actual American Airlines. And really raise the standards. But it should be, I think, also paired the system of penal labor and like actual American labor, mostly like labor force, labor battalion, labor whatever, right? Labor division, labor force, right? American labor force. Or labor branch, I don't know. That, hey, if you're a prisoner and we've taught you how to be an underwater scuba diving welder, and you've done that for 4 years, let's get you a pipe plant to go directly into the labor force. We got you a job, doing the same exact thing. Like we can plan for your future job while you're being rehabilitated. And the thing is if you mess up on the job and you misbehave and you do stuff, then we send you to actual prison. So it's kind of like a multi-level system of punishment that I see. There should be prisons of punishment. There should be forced labor that's like higher standards, but you're working. It's like you're serving, essentially. And then there are places where certain kinds of murderers, sexually depraved people, sexually sick people, penal colonies is where they live. And maybe they can get some visits, I don't know, from the outside world. It'd have to be, just safe period. But they can drink and, have whatever, other normal people have marijuana, we just have to aim, because, there's different theories of punishment. There's, retributive, we need to, retributive incapacitation. There's all these like fancy ones, but to boil them down, We punish people because they did something wrong and they deserve it, right? Or they did something wrong, so we need to do something bad to them so that everyone else sees. And then they're like, oh, damn, I don't want that to happen to me. I've been deterred, right? My big theory, and there's rehabilitation. We lock people up because we want to make them better so that when they come out, right? And incapacitation is we're putting them away because they're a danger to people and, you know, they shouldn't be around. They shouldn't be around people that they can hurt, right? So I think that balancing all those, this is what I get. But I'm very big on the labor battalion or labor force idea, because I think it's something that can put a lot of Americans in uniform, get a lot of people to be into their country, to actually build things. Massive public works, I'm telling you, a massive public works program would go so far. Building the high-speed, you know, rail network throughout North and South America and throughout the United States. Building a comprehensive, you know, fully flushed out scheme for clean water for everyone. Figuring out how we're going to get all these school kids fed nice, good food and not processed junk. These things matter, right? And that's why another part that basically the crown, I think, the crown, also this labor battalion idea, should be an institution called the Citadel, I'll call it. And it should be that for the super academics, super experts that we put through school, or the weak cop and we say, hey, can you please join us, right? Create a hall of experts. Basically, mini Manhattan Project, Manhattan Project offshoots, so to speak, to say, hey, we need all of the most important plumbers and engineers and geologists and hydraulic whatever to come here, and we need to have a discussion, a constructive discussion project like the UN of laborers, of workers, to figure out how we're going to get clean water for everyone. Because we could figure out nuclear energy and nuclear power, we can do this clean water stuff. We can do healthy lunches for kids, right? We can do, you know, we can do anything. We can raise the standard of living for us. We can make it so the price of medications cut down. We can fix the homeless problem. Like we can just do this if we apply ourselves. We can do that. So I think the Citadel, the concept of citizens in uniform, of working for the government for many years. You're like, oh, yeah, no, I've been a geologist for the American labor, whatever, building bridges, doing whatever, all that stuff for like 50 years. And we get citizens with medals, and we give them, man, it would be amazing. So I'm going to end on that note. I got to go. But listeners, thank you so much for taking the time to hear me up. Stay tuned.